Hi everyone.
Hi everybody.
In today's video we're going to do something interesting. We're going to compare the CND Vinylux to Dazzle Dry. They're both long-lasting systems, polishes. And we're going to compare how the polish applies, what the formulas are, and how long it wears, and how quickly it dries. So we're going to do wait a week, and we're gonna do a follow-up.
Let's see how it wears.
Yeah, how it wears. All right, so, and in the meantime, I'm gonna kind of talk about my experiences with both brands. So first, we did a manicure, and we're going to wipe these nails. But first, I'm going to show you what I do when I do manicures. So you don't need to buff the natural nail. So these ones are already manicured, but I'm just gonna push it back very quickly. You don't have to buff the nails necessarily, but I have to say that if the nail is quite shiny, the polish might not last as long. So what I do is initially with a very fine buffer, you can just use this one for the manicure. You can use, this is 320, I believe. If you feel that it's a little bit too rough, you can run a file a little bit. Or you can use one of these files. This is for personal use because you don't want to be reusing these on different clients. But so this one is 150, 320. So you want to use the fine side, which gives you a light buff. You want to make sure that the nail is not shiny, for sure. And then when you are doing follow-up manicures, you can go over just the regrowth area, kind of like this. I find that this way you kind of get into the little grooves a little bit better than just going like this. And also you're putting way less pressure. And although this one says 150 grit, it just really doesn't feel very harsh whatsoever. And I'm not going over like this. So it's worth investing in, like if you're doing the manicures yourself, in one of these buffers. The OPI ones are good as well. You want to make sure that the nails are manicured properly, that the cuticle is removed. So there was a lot of confusion about the cuticle. So what I'm pushing back now is not a cuticle, I'm pushing back the living skin, the proximal nail fold, and which that exposes the cuticle. The cuticle is that white kind of a film that's stuck on a nail. Sometimes you don't see it as much, and sometimes you do. If the skin is overgrown sometimes, or the skin is stuck to the natural nail as it's growing, it might kind of hide the cuticle. So what you want to do is just push it back lightly on a regular basis. Did I buff this one? My model here is falling asleep already.
I'm not falling asleep. I'm fine.
A little bit.
No.
And you want to make sure that, there is no peeling of the natural nail. Because if the natural nail is peeling, it might peel the polish with it. All right, so now the Vinylux hand, we're going to wipe with Scrub Fresh. CND, because we're going like fully, each brand is going to be...
Each brand?
No, it's going to be, I'm lost for words right now, used with a full system.
Well, that's exactly it. It's each brand will be, you're using each brand.
The full system, yes.
Exactly.
That's the word.
Yeah.
I think I need to eat or something.
No, you're fine. You ate yesterday.
A lot. Okay, so let's, and now this one is, I'm going to use the prep, Dazzle Dry Prep. And as you're scrubbing, make sure that you always wipe the free edge as well. We left these nails a little bit longer just so we can wrap the free edges. If the nails are too short, then it's harder to do that. Poor guy has to wear long nails for a week now. We just did shellac video, so there was some
Staining?
yeah, no, base coat.
Oh.
So that kind of got stuck there. And don't try to remove ridges from the nails by buffing. Not a good idea.
Don't do that.
No, because you're just thinning out the nail. All right, so this one is Dark Dahlia, and we're gonna use Pumped Up Purple, just so the poor guy at least is wearing the same color. So with this, you don't need a base coat. Personally, especially for dark colors, but we'll see how this works without a base coat. For very porous nails, I find that this can stain the nail. So I just normally would put a very, very thin coat of like very light color, like bow. But for the sake of really, you know what, I'm gonna actually time it. I'm gonna use as recommended. So the first coat is going to be thin. I absolutely love the brushes.
You know what I love? When people hit the like button.
Like the videos.
And subscribe button. Yes. And they have nice things to say in the comment section.
Yeah, let's be honest. We like nice comments.
Yeah.
Oh, this is nice.
They kind of give you the nice feel goods for the day. It's like, thank you so much for the videos. They're very nice.
So when I'm polishing the nails, I'm gonna show you with the next nail. Make sure that the brush is not dripping, so I kind of get it off the stem. Get it off a little bit on this side, get it off completely on this side, and then you have like a nice bead of product. I get it off kind of a little bit further away, almost, and then push it up so it doesn't flood the skin. Very nice. Very nice formula. So CND changed their formulas of Vinylux. The first Vinylux was very difficult to remove after more than a week. So on the hands it was decent, it was fine. But when you did it on pedicures, oh my god, after a month it was impossible to remove. I stopped using it for pedicures for that reason. And a lot of people were experiencing white spots. So they reformulated. Okay, it's a little patchy looking. So we're gonna clean it up very quickly. Just gonna dip this with an acetone. Okay, so this hand goes to
This side.
the side, and now let's talk about Dazzle Dry.
Looked like you were about to say it, and this will go into the
Into
lamp.
the lamp, yeah. Okay, so the base coat, Dazzle Dry, it has to be very, very clear. So you want to make sure that if the temperature in your room is like below 70 Fahrenheit, that, or like, I don't know what it is in Celsius, like 21 or something, that that you warm it up. So I found with the base coat, you want to really apply it thin. It dries better that way. You don't have to float it on, and you want to rub the free edge as well. So you want to grab a tiny bit. It's kind of like really watery. It doesn't feel like necessarily a nail polish. So you warm it up by putting it into a little bit of a hot water or warm water. Not boiling, obviously, but because you don't want to destroy the formula. And I also find Dazzle Dry recommends 2 base coats. two coats of base coat. I personally don't find that there is a big difference. Okay, they recommend 2 base coats on the hands and 1 for the pedicures. But I find that it doesn't really make a big difference. So personally, I use 1, but for the sake of, you know, proper video, we're gonna do 2. And what I found out was that when the base coat kind of the base coat doesn't really get thicker, but once it's used probably half of it, it dries slower on the nails. And when you put the second coat, it kind of like spreads a little bit or something, and it just gives the nails a weird texture. And then you just have to dry the second. Yeah, this one is dry.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
good.
That's impressive.
Again, we used very thin first coat. And now with the second coat, you can do more of a floating technique. The second coat, it's easier because you already have the borders. Oops. These colors are difficult to clean up. Sometimes when that happens, you can almost turn the hand a little bit. And sometimes what you can do is you can try to correct it. Wow, look at that. I'm so good.
Professional.
Wow. Doesn't always work that way. Trust me. All right, so this is the second coat.
This is a really nice color.
Aren't you glad you're wearing this, not pink again? Poor guy.
I don't mind.
Your boss does.
But that's okay. I kind of enjoy getting a little bit of rise out of them over the nail polish.
I think he stopped kind of commenting just because he thinks now you do it on purpose. So the more he comments, the more you wear it. So
that drives him bananas, but he's a good guy.
All right, so I'm not gonna try to wrap this one perfectly because we're gonna, okay, no, I managed. So what I do usually with now all the nail polish, I do the 4 nails first, and then I do the thumbs separately, and I just ask the client to kind of hold their thumbs this way, because so it doesn't drip. All right, so we're gonna do a second coat. And again, the second coat you want to use thin. Like I find that I really had to adjust my technique with Dazzle Dry. If you're new to Dazzle Dry, don't give up.
There's a learning curve.
There's a learning curve for sure. At first the consistency is a little different. It kind of feels a little watery or something, I don't know. So you see I'm putting pressure on the brush so the bristles kind of spread. I'm gonna give you a good tip about actually very important tip about the base coat in a second. Oops. You wanna make sure that the base coat is completely dry before you put the second base coat, otherwise it starts going stringy. So, and especially if you're gonna put a polish over the base coat, it has to be perfectly dry. And sometimes if you over apply in some areas, especially on toes, when people are holding their kind of toes this way, some of the base coat kind of drips and it's a little bit thicker around this area, or the free edge, depending if you wrap the nail. And once you start to apply the polish, the polish will stick to the wet base coat and kind of destroy the formula. So you can destroy the formula of the nail polish. So you want to make sure that it's completely dry. And that you're not heavy with the free edge kind of wiping or wrapping. So now this way, and I wanted to show you actually, you see how when it's drying, it kind of, it dries not at the same rate. So you might have like little, it looks a little pitted at first. But it's normal, and it's going to dry a little bit better. But I found with the two coats, sometimes that pitting does not go away slightly. So again, actually probably I should do additional, actually probably yes. I should do additional video, additional class training with Dazzle Dry and see if I can kind of correct that. But all right, so we're gonna dry this. Want to make sure that it's dried properly, and we'll see how this one looks.
It feels like it needs a little more time.
Yeah, definitely. Well, definitely, it's not bad, actually.
Seriously? Probably?
Seriously, actually, it's not bad. But in this time when the polish is drying, what you can do, what I do, is I clean up the edges. There's not much. I did such a good job that I don't need to do a lot of cleaning up, but this would be the time
to do it.
And I use an acrylic brush that obviously I don't use for acrylic. I just use it for this, and I dip it in straight acetone, pure acetone, and then I clean up the edges. When I do a manicure, I use the cream at the very end, because I mostly use Dazzle Dry, so it dries fully in 5 minutes, so you can put the oil and cream after. Because I find polishing over nails that had cream on them, and even though you wiped the area, it kind of makes that whole area looking moist. And you don't see the borders, and then it's harder to polish without flooding the skin. That's just my little...
Oh, speaking about 5 minutes, and you were mentioning about 5 minutes, you know what takes less than 5 minutes? Hitting the like and subscribe buttons.
That's correct.
So, you should go do that right now. It takes less than 5 minutes. It takes like 30 seconds.
It's just make sure that the thumbs up and down is like very close, so you don't by accident hit the thumbs down. And
if you're like a bat, you know, just make sure that when you're upside down, that you hit the thumbs down button, which is actually the thumbs up button. God. So you don't want to get those mixed up.
Yeah. All right, so the top coats. With the top coat, you want to make sure that you cover all the edges. And wrapping the free edges is difficult on yourself. Like, I hate polishing my nails, to be honest with you. That's why people pay me to polish their nails, because it's so frustrating.
It's true. I've watched her do her nails, and I
just cry sometimes.
And I prefer not to be in the same room.
Yeah, it's really tough. And as you can see, when I'm wrapping the free edges, I'm not really very heavy-handed with that amount of polish that I'm putting on the free edge. Because I find, I don't know, it doesn't dry properly when you put too much. So now I will do the 4. And then go back to the thumbs.
The thumbs. Thumbs.
And we're gonna time it and see how long it takes for this to dry. The application of this top coat is good, I have to say. I've done, maybe we should compare maybe we should do another video comparing the two top coats, this one and the regular top coat, to see if there is a difference. All right, so this one goes to the side here, and we're gonna time the drying. So now, as you can see, these ones looks still a little, what's the name?
Not dry.
Pitted, kind of, right? But it's dry. It's dry. So, pumped up purple. All right, so I wipe the stem off, see, by kind of doing little circles, and wipe this completely. So when I pull it out, I wipe tiny amount off here and then the full amount here, and then you have a nice bead of product. Again, go swipe down. Wow. So I find Dazzle Dry has a good formula on a lot of the dark colors. They almost cover in one coat. But you really want to make sure that the first, well, I find the first coat has to be thinner. And it can be thinner because the coverage is so good. And if the color does not cover in 2 coats, I would do rather 3 thin ones. Some of the bright colors don't cover very well in 2 coats, and they actually are designed to be used in 3 thin as opposed to 1 thin and 1 thick. So with Dazzle Dry, normally once you are finished with polishing all 10 nails, the first one is usually completely, like you can actually see, this one is pretty dry. You see how there's a little pits? I find that. And that's what the second coat of the base coat does sometimes. That's why I'm kind of saying I use usually 1 coat. And I have good results with that as well. Again, as you can see, the bristles spread. So I'm putting pressure. And very important with the Dazzle Dry, some of the colors, it's such a quick drying system that some of the colors thicken up quite quickly. So you want to make sure that you keep the polishes always at proper consistency. With the Dazzle Dry Revive, they're a nail polish thinner. So you want to make sure that you always add a few drops once you see that the polish is a little bit thicker. So if you can imagine, if I still have to polish that other hand, this is dry. Like this is dry. I'm putting pressure.
Oh yeah, lots of pressure.
The difference I find with this system is that when it dries, it does not have the same coverage or the same smoothness as with other polishes, because I think the difference in the formula is that this brand doesn't have nitrocellulose in it, and nitrocellulose is a film forming agent, so it gives the polish like that body, that smoothness. But also I find that it can yellow the nails, and it's not that the pigment is yellowing the nails. I think it's not, well, the chemist behind the brand says that she claims that it's the nitrocellulose that yellows the nails, and I would really agree, because I've been using it for 1.5 years now, and when I switched from a regular polish to Dazzle Dry on people's toes especially, the difference is incredible, absolutely incredible. The surface of the nail is way healthier, is white, it's not yellow, it's there was no white spots. The surface is nice and even and smooth. There's huge difference, huge difference. So just like anything, there is pros and cons to every brand. It might not be as kind of a smooth finish, but the health of the nail is incredible. The difference, like I don't have any issues with people having white spots on their toenails or like yellow nails. And Dazzle Dry also has a ridge filler, so people that have ridges, they can totally try that product, but that's a topic for another video. I don't use it a lot, and again, maybe I can cover that in the next video. So Vinylux claims full dry in 8 minutes, I believe. Dazzle Dry in 5. So we'll compare that. And I don't know about Vinylux if they have some kind of a thinner that they recommend using with their polishes, because the thicker the polish, like the older it gets, the slower it dries, obviously. See if I can be successful wiping this off. Oh, what can I say? I'm a pro. All right, so actually no, let's let it dry this way for just a minute.
Okay.
So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to clean up the edges, dipping the brush in acetone. So if the nail gets flooded with the polish, it's easier to clean it off right away. But if you just want to kind of make the edges look pretty, I find it's easier to do that when the polish is dry already, because you don't mess up by accident. You can put a little bit more pressure on this brush. And again, with the second coat, I find that I don't have to wait as long to dry. So normally once I'm finished with the last nail, I can start polishing, putting top coat. With some exception, I find some of the light colors, like Prima Ballerina, for example, they dry a little bit slower. Maybe because I'm applying it a little bit thicker, I don't know.
Maybe.
But these highly pigmented polishes, they dry super quickly. And you can see that the texture of the surface is changing a little bit. And now you can see a little kind of ridges in the natural nail. The texture is different, and that's when and not all the polishes turn matte, but you can see the difference.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just pretend I'm polishing the other hand.
Okay.
So we're gonna give it another minute, but in the meantime I can see that it's already 8 minutes drying. All right, so we're seeing some small bubbles.
Yes.
This one. Mm-hmm. Just okay. So it's smudgeable still.
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm. So I can still, well, I can definitely. It's not 100% dry. Yeah, you can see. Oops. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna spray them.
Wow, you done it.
I know. I managed.
They were so
I managed
nice.
to damage your manicure.
Already. Managed to damage.
So with CND, we can use the Solar Speed Spray. And Dazzle Dry does not recommend any of these kind of things. Another very important thing is that
so good.
I know
Oh.
that Dazzle Dry does not recommend any type of fans or moving air.
I guess it spreads it out.
Yeah. And I find that goes with any other polish. Like if you have the patience to let them dry in between coats without any blowing air or anything like that, they dry better and quicker. Okay, so so this is dry. Oops.
What did you do?
You know what I did? I had some of the solar spray on it. So if this one doesn't have a good...
So all that about Dazzle Dry doesn't recommend the you know these types of things. What do?
The accident. Okay.
Oh,
Oops. So let's just let it dry a little bit. So with the top coat, you want to make sure that you pick up a good amount. I always try to pick up enough for the whole nail, so I don't have to go back. And you have to be quick with Dazzle Dry. And precise, more than quick, really. Precise. You can't go back to fix mistakes because it sets up very, very quickly. Stop. Okay. We'll see how this goes. So you see that the bristles don't spread on the top coat. And let's give it a minute. Because you want to use a very, very light touch with the top coat. You want to make sure that you cover that whole area and rub the free edge. And Dazzle Dry claims that the polish is set in 1 minute and fully dry in 5. So we'll test that. Okay, and let's
get the tongue.
And when you get like a true bubbles in a nail polish, sometimes it's because there's something here. You create them, but by picking up the polish and just kind of putting too many bubbles into the bottle. So as you can see here, hold on. Can you see it?
What?
Well, you can't see the little bubbles inside around the brush. Yeah. So when I polish the nails, like when I do my own nails, I just dip the brush, not all the way, just enough to pick up some polish, but I don't kind of keep going like this because this creates a lot of bubbles in the, yeah, you can see, right? So you want to clean the stem and then don't go all the way in if you don't necessarily need it. So I always pay attention to kind of feel where the line of polish is, and this is how far I dip the polish, just as far as I need to dip it. I don't kind of keep hitting the brush.
Yeah. I gotta say, these colors are like very...
They're good. They're
very
similar.
spot on. Yeah.
Okay, so this has been probably 1 minute on this hand.
Okay.
So let's see how set this is. I'm gonna just clean my finger because I'm gonna make sure that I don't. I know.
You're gonna mess it up.
It's dry. Like, I mean, it's dry to the touch, but we're gonna give it 5 minutes.
Oh, now you see the purple.
Ah, you see, even with naked eye, you can see the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So yeah, on camera, because there is so much darkness, it's gonna kind of lighten the color. In real life, now you can kind of see that
there's like a purple to it, yeah.
But it pretty much looks black.
If we take this, let's turn it sideways for a comparison.
Like how sideways? This way?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay, let's just move this a little bit. Look at that.
That's cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, now switch hands somehow.
Ta-da!
Okay. Wow.
Yep.
All right, so this is 2 minutes for this one. Okay, switch back. Okay, we're gonna wait another 2 minutes. dry.
Yeah, that's dry.
It's dry.
Yep, it's very dry.
Okay.
But you could feel it even just when you were initially.
Yeah. So now that the polish is dry, you can, and sometimes I find it turns a little dull at the beginning when you're putting on the oil, but later on the dullness is gone.
Yeah. Sharpens back up.
So at this point, I do the cream with the Dazzle Dry Manicure and the oil. So we will see how the nails look like tomorrow. But initially, okay, so we have, I do find this hand looks, can I see? It looks smoother, like the polish. It covers, it's fuller, more plumper, no?
Plumper.
But also it's not 100% dry, this one, right? It's gonna take hours for this to completely
To be
set.
dry, yeah.
So it might look the same after a few hours.
Yeah.
So we're gonna compare in a few hours to see, because this has been 20 minutes now. Let's see. Yeah. It's still dentable a little bit.
And that's,
So if you put, yeah, 20 minutes.
yeah, like we're sitting at like 20 minutes here.
But it's dry. Like if you're using this on hands, I would say people can, you know.
Do a few things.
Yeah, but I would be still not maybe pulling cards from a wallet or anything like that.
Right.
The top coat is not super shiny. It still has a little texture, but you know what? It's not going to be the same. Gel is going to be, or gel polish, or well, you know, these kind of products are going to be smoother and shinier. I find top coats after they're dry, sometimes they're not as shiny.
Right.
All right, so we will be back with probably follow up in a day or two, and then in 7 days, right? Awesome.
All right.
Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Ciao.
Okay, so we are back. How many days now? 3. This is the day number 3.
3?
Monday, Tuesday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. 3 days. So this is the Vinylux. This is the Dazzle Dry. You know, the Dazzle Dry, I would say slightly less full, I would kind of say, right? It's shiny as well. I would say even it's
It just
shinier.
doesn't look as smooth.
Smooth, yeah. So it shows the ridges a little bit more. But also, it seems as if there's a slightly more free edge wear on this one. There is this nail, and then there's this one. And on this hand, there's only this one. There's also some scratches from, you know, the abuse. Other than that, can I see closer the thumbs? The thumbs closer here? I just want to see under the lighting. Not a huge difference, I have to say. This one had a little bit more bubbles in there. Yeah. Okay, so we'll be back in a couple more days with another update. Okay, so we are back here 7 days later. This is day 7 with Vinylux versus Dazzle Dry. And sometimes on camera I can't really see the way I'm seeing it, so I guess it has to be a little bit more flat. A little bit closer. So there was a slight, I don't know what that happened.
I would say that's mechanical.
Yeah, damage
Yeah.
to this one. And this is your dominant hand, pretty much, right?
No. This
No?
is my dominant hand.
Oh, okay.
I just write with this hand. That's all.
Oh, so confusing. So it's, I don't see much difference. There's slight possibility that there was more free edge kind of wear on this one. right? But
No, about the same.
not a big deal.
About the
Not a
same.
big deal. This one seems a little bit more like thinner. Oh, and you mentioned that when we dried the nails, this one felt different, no? Remember at the end of the video? How did it feel?
This one felt like harder, drier. This one had this squeaky, I really can't explain it. It didn't feel the same though.
Different.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because this one wasn't, the Vinylux wasn't dry. But you know what? 7 days with Vinylux, I'm impressed. I have to say, yeah, it does what they say it does.
Yeah, it took a beating.
Dazzle Dry, I normally get with this look, kind of 2 weeks with clients. Of course, clients that have, you know, decent, good natural nails, because if someone has peeling nails, then obviously the nails are going to peel. But we're gonna remove this, and just to see how the removal is, put a glove on just so I don't damage my nails. Because I managed to, yesterday after work, do my nails with clear coat, finally, because everything gets damaged. But I'll do the other one too. And we'll see how this removes, how long it takes, and how the nails look. Okay, so here's how I remove the nails. So this is the Vinylux, a bit closer. So I usually use acetone, pure acetone. And normally I apply this on the other hand as well, so we're gonna give it like a minute to set. Okay, so 30 seconds later, I would say 30 seconds. Okay, so this removes it very well. So what I do is I press down and towards me. Press down and pull. Press down and pull. So I don't do this kind of rubbing in, because that way the polish gets messy and it gets right in the skin. So whatever didn't come off, I remove with another piece of cotton that's clean. Okay, so this is really good. I would say,
Yeah,
I'm
removal
impressed. Very good.
went very well, yeah.
So now we'll do the other hand with the same technique. Technique.
That wasn't a correction, that was just repeating.
Okay, 30 seconds. Okay. Also excellent. So in the next video, we're going to compare Dazzle Dry with Essie Gel Couture and see how that goes. And we have quite a few other polishes, so let us know which kind of polish do you want to see next. We had a lot of interest with in the Essie and also RPI, but we also have like some Sally Hansen and some Shoppers Drug Mart, or like, I don't know what's in the US, Target? No. Whatever you guys have. Was it Target?
Walmart, Target.
Walmart, whatever brands as well. Sally Hansen, mostly. Okay, so yeah, that's perfect. Also very good removal.
Yep.
All right.
Overall, very, very happy.
Very good, yeah.
Yep.
So we will see you in the next video, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Bye.